Hi everybody, this is Brian Koo with another ROK video, getting into your week 4 Osiris League bets for season 9 of the Osiris League. We're doing very well with our betting so far this season. We had another winning week in week number 3. We went 2-0 in Bastet. We went 2-2 in Horus, and then in Anubis, we did lose our best bet of the week on SV92, but the other YouTuber, Lambo and PK, they came through with a really nice underdog win. So we won quite a few Aurics on PK last week. And overall, for the season, we are at 12,700 Aurics. We're well on our way to buying out the shop. And in my kingdom, you can see that I am in a very respectable 13th place. If you're trying to chase the leaderboard in, your realm or all the realms, then you're going to have to go absolutely crazy betting on a ton of underdogs. We're not doing things that way. We are just making smart bets, spreading out our risk a little bit by making a lot of bets each week. And it's going to be the same strategy in week 4. Things are tough. This has been the toughest season of Osiris League betting I've ever experienced. I do think that the public is getting a lot sharper and not making so many uneducated bets. And so you're going to see that this week with the way we're betting things. I didn't find a lot of great bets, but I am happy to share with you everything good that I found. Let's just start right off in the realm of Horus. And actually, the first bet is going to give you a sense of how tough things are this week. We're going to go ahead and bet 35% of our bankroll on 60 GT. There are a lot of very heavy favorites this week. GT is actually not the biggest favorite, and yet they're probably the strongest Ark of Osiris team. So we're just going to bet some of our Aurics on something very safe, very boring. We're going to bet on 60 GT. Let me quickly try to do the math here. Let's just say we have 13,000. That's going to be, I think that's going to be about 4,500 Aurics on, or maybe 4,400 Aurics on 60 GT. We will see at the end of the video if my math works out, but let's just do that. So yeah, bet about 35% of your bankroll on 60 GT. It's just going to be a little bit of value for you. And, we're going to be betting on mostly underdogs, and so you don't have to bet too much on the underdogs. The first underdog we're betting on, we're still in the realm of Horus here. We are going to bet on OWR against WIB. OWR went 3-0 in their group. They're the number 1 seed. WIB went 2-1 in their group. WIB is a very strong Ark of Osiris team. They have certainly had some leadership turnover happening in their kingdom. OWR is an up-and-coming kingdom in 2638. And I just think that as an underdog, as a very significant underdog here, we can make a bet on OWR and essentially say, we don't know that WIB is the better team here. They have historically been a very strong team, but they're up against an up-and-comer in OWR that is undefeated in this Osiris League. So we're just getting good value as the underdog here, and we'll just go ahead and bet just under 1,300 or 10% of our bankroll on OWR for the upset. Very good odds on OWR here. I do like this bet. Our third bet in the realm of Horus is going to be another really big underdog. Like I said, these are some tough bets this week, so we're going to try to hit a nice win on some of these underdogs. 689P is, I think, a Korean kingdom. They went 2-1 in their group. They lost hard to GV77, but 1689 is a name that I've heard from time to time in terms of OL and stuff like that. They're going up against 60MX, which I do think 60MX likely has a very strong team this year. They did beat AO77 in week number 2, but at these odds, and not knowing exactly what we're getting with 60MX yet, and also not knowing exactly what we're getting with 689P, I think a very small bet of 5% is worth doing on 689P here to pull the upset on 60MX. So let's go ahead and do that. So those are our 3 bets in Horus, 60 GT, OWR, and 689P. We also have 1 bet in the realm of Anubis. This is going to be on another underdog. In this case, we're going to be betting on the bigger kingdom, the more well-known kingdom in 1606. This is the B team from 1606, infamous Minions. They went 2-1 in a very tough group, or in a relatively tough group, whereas ATW, in my opinion, was in one of the weaker pools in Anubis, and actually they only went 2-1 in their group. They lost to LX17 and won some very close matches, especially against 62YS. So I'm looking at these odds and I'm saying to myself, like, is ATW really a big favorite in this match? Like, does that really make sense here? Maybe people are looking at the stars. Not quite sure how these odds got to where they are. And so even though INM is a significant underdog, we are going to go ahead and bet 10% of our bankroll on INM for the upset. If this thing hits, we are going to get quite a good payout. So that's going to be our one and only bet in the realm of Anubis, INM over ATW. Now let's keep it rolling into Bastet. We've got a couple of bets here. The first one being W257 over 65 AC. We're again going to bet 10% of our bankroll here. 65 AC went 2-1 in their group, whereas Aqua went 3-0 in their group. Aqua had 3 very solid victories here. And while 65 AC is the better known team and the better known kingdom, I just think, again, we don't know exactly where these two teams stand. And so why not go with the team that is undefeated and an underdog here? Let's go ahead and bet another 10% of our bankroll, or 1,300 on W257. The other bet in this bracket is going to be one of the matches that I'm casting this week with Chisgul. Why can I not see this? Maybe it's in a different realm and I think it's in a different realm actually. I just have my organ. Yeah. This is going to be our best bet of the week. This is a match that I'm casting at 19 UTC with Chisgul on the official Rise of Kingdoms channel. I know I said in the past that I don't like to bet on matches I'm casting, but I'm breaking those rules because it was just really hard to find good bets this week. But I do think that as a slight underdog here, 3310 is going to be a good bet against LX17. 3310 lost an interesting and pretty close match last week to 1188. So that makes them the number 2 seed from their pool. LX17 is the number 1 seed from their pool. But as I alluded to earlier, I think that LX17 was in probably the weakest pool in Realm of Anubis. They had 62YS, ATW, and P74 in their group. No real standout teams there. I do think that LX17 has a good Auric team, but this is a kingdom that, from what I can tell, has been in a period of transition over the last 6 or so months. Some of their old school players have departed, and they have essentially new recruits now that they did win their last KVK, but it wasn't the most impressive performance LX17 has ever had. So a kingdom that's not necessarily at the top of their game, whereas 3310, from what I can see, is very close to the top of their game. They have spoken about the fact that they are not in KVK and that they are preparing quite a bit for this Osiris League. And they did play well last week against 1188. So there are just enough good things about 3310 here that I am comfortable putting about 25% of my bankroll, or most of what I have left. Let's do about this is about 25% here. The last bet's going to be a big underdog, so you can maybe go a little bit higher on this one. But yeah, about 25% of our bankroll on 3310 to beat LX17. If you do have some action on this match, then you can tune into the official Rise of Kingdoms channel at 19 UTC. Chisgul and I will be casting this match. Now, with our remaining 5% of our bankroll, we are going to go into the realm of Sobek. I did an interview on this channel yesterday with Spooks from C72K. They are a solid kingdom and a solid OL team. Spooks has won the Osiris League before. They are really big underdogs to 35.75 here, but at the same time, Spooks did not list 3575 as one of the favorites to win Bastet or to win Sobek. If I had to guess, I would think that Spooks probably puts their opponents here as maybe like the number 3 team in Sobek. But I asked him, can you win this match? And Spooks said they had a chance. And at that point I was like, if you say you have a chance, then these odds are very good. So we are going to go ahead and bet on C72K as big underdogs here. Once again, for 5% of our roll. That does it. That wraps everything up with all of our Aurics. I do wish you all the best of luck in your action. I will now go to the betting summary for this week. In the realm of Horus, we are betting on 60 GT over 33.79 for 35% of our bankroll. We're betting on OWR over WIB for 10% of our bankroll. 689P over 60MX for 5% of our bankroll. Then in the realm of Anubis, we have INM over ATW for 10% of our bankroll. And our best bet of the week, 3310 over LX17 for 25% of our roll. In Bastet, we are betting on W257 over 65AC for 10% of our roll, and C72K over 75 SL for 5% of the roll in the realm of Sobek. Thank you all for watching. Throw a like on this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and best of luck in all your action.